welcome to the 100th Mile podcast, where we are covering Veer, one of the hardest ultra cycling races in the world, 4,000 kilometers that our athletes are cycling across Western Europe. My name is John, I am your host, and we are on day 10 of this epic race, and we are reaching our conclusion. Yesterday, the first edition of this race found its winner in Adam Bialik. After 9 days, 6 hours and 57 minutes of cycling, Adam Bialik crossed the finish line. Arriving in Giovinazzo with a commanding lead over the field, we got some thoughts from Adam.
And so you haven't seen any other competitor for 4,000 kilometers?
The last time I've seen somebody was somewhere at the beginning.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday last week.
I mean, Murcia, I still saw some riders, but after Murcia, nobody. It's somehow nice to have a large gap, but on the other hand, it's nice to see people here and there, to actually know and see that there is somebody around who is competing for the top spot as well. So yeah, that's great to hear that there was already a gap after 24 hours. My plan was anyway to ride to the Picos and do my first sleeping stop after that. And it didn't work. It didn't go that nice as I expected because of the wind. So I thought maybe my plan is rubbish now. But despite all of that, I did the Picos, get out of the Picos. And
Do you think you're just getting better with every race you do, Adam?
not necessarily better. I mean, there's not much more to improve, I guess. That's why my setup is pretty much, I can say that. I was about to say that my setup is pretty much done since years, and that my skills are always there since a while, so that my preparation is always on point, so that my route planning probably is fits my riding style, at least, I would say. There's not that much room to improve.
Despite Adam having finished, there's plenty of racing still happening out on the roads. And our next man heading towards the finish line was Lucas Becker, who, pushing through the night with a small rest stop, again managed to get inside that 10-day mark, finishing in 9 days, 22 hours and 17 minutes. A remarkable performance. And Adam Bialik was there at the finish line this morning to congratulate Lucas.
No, don't hug me. I'm disgusting.
Here's our champion with second place.
Look at Adam. He's nice and clean. This will be you in a few hours.
I hope so.
Oh, good.
Great ride.
Likewise.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it.
With a good gap too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the mountains yesterday. In the morning, I was a bit stressed out because I got quite close in the night because I didn't cycle so much the day before yesterday.
Brilliant.
With the heat, it was just impossible. I was sitting next to a lake, just sleeping, having a bath. And so in the morning they were quite close, but I was like, yeah, whatever. I just pushed it in the mountains.
The race for third place is really hotting up. And Christian has come from the back of a group of riders vying to just about overhaul Bruno Vix on the road as we speak. So they've taken slightly different routes, and Christian has travelled along the coast, which might be slightly further in distance, but it means he's got a bit of a downhill run and it gets much flatter. And he's got a tailwind that's lined up behind him. So it's going to be a sprint all the way to the line, I think. And at the moment, Christian has got the edge and is looking to step into the final podium position. Further behind, we've got the usual suspects who've been there and thereabouts over the last week. Mikel Pagano and Will Vousden, again, taking different routes. Will taking the coastal route, Michele inland, bit more climbing. Be interesting to see who comes out on top. And if Bruno can't manage to get back in front of Christian, then I think he should arrive in front of those two. Lots going on behind. Chris and Mark, these riders are tired physically, mentally, they're sleep deprived. And Mark sent us a voice note last night, and it's worth having a listen to that just to get a little bit of an insight into where his head is at the moment.
And I guess, yeah, this ultra for me is the ultra of comebacks. So, guess what I'm gonna do? Ride through another night. Leave it all out there, like last night, which was actually one of my toughest nights ever on a bike. I was fighting like an animal. Mentally, it was, yeah, I went very, very, very deep. So let's see how this night is gonna turn out.
We wish Mark well as he pushes on towards the line. I'm sure he'll have a very solid finish. Continuing with the top 10, there's a battle going on just to break into the top 10. We've got Alex, Juhani, and even Will Dixon coming from the back. Now, Will's had this battle with Sam Muscat. Sam Muscat's still there. We've got Pavel in the mix. Ivan. It's all to play for. All sorts of things can happen at the last minute. Rob Roy Cameron unfortunately succumbed to the heat and an issue with his wheel and called it a day. Such is the pressure on these riders pushing to try and get into the top 10. So it's certainly not all over just yet. Sam is someone we've been trying to catch up with for days. Sam Muscat, really colourful, exciting character. And Christiana managed to pin him down just for a few minutes at Refuge 2 to get his thoughts on how the race is going. So have a listen now.
How is the race going and how do you feel?
It's been an absolute roller coaster. From injured knees to losing things, necessities, and all the in-betweens. But we made it here so far. A little bit of a shortcut kind of helped me along the way.
Okay, that sounds good. And do you have any memorable story from the road, like something you will for sure remember?
My most memorable story would have to be the generosity from the Spanish doctors that treated me when I was limping and got me back on my feet, literally.
Wow, that's a good shout out to them. Thank you, Spanish doctors. And what have been the hardest part of the race so far?
Probably my hardest part would have to be the hiker bike section. That was terrible. I had to improvise with some yarn that I found on a construction site to tether my bike to my back, which cut the circulation off to my arms, which wasn't very pleasant at all. But we made it, and I think I made pretty good time.
Cool. You can check the Strava segments if you hike the fastest.
Yeah,
you can
true.
crop the activity.
Yeah.
And how is your body like after this big piece of the race?
It's pretty good. Like my body's feeling great. My knees have their ups and downs. Like it's good when only one knee hurts at the moment, so that's good. But now it's just like the small little aches, like my fingers not working and my feet that are kind of getting to me.
Okay. Well, that doesn't sound that bad. We had worse here. And what about your fan club in Melbourne?
My fan club?
Do you have one?
My loved ones, my family members and friends. Yeah, I'm sure they're definitely following along and messaging me daily, voice memos and whatnot. It's lovely.
Do you have a message for them? Do you want to say something?
To my beautiful dot watchers back home, thank you so much for your support. It's really helped me through these really tough times. And yeah, thank you very much.
And did you race with Will Dixon?
Yeah, well, we've been kind of like along each other's tails the whole way. He chased me for like 350 kilometers yesterday.
Wow.
And then I took a wrong turn and ended up climbing 500 meters up into a town that I didn't have to and watched his dot go past.
Are your friends or enemies?
No, I don't know. I don't really know the bloke, so yeah, I'm sure he's a great guy.
Okay. And like, how did you like the crossing of the Alps?
The Alps was stunning. I wish at the time I felt like I was in hell, but it was a beautiful hell. Yeah, I wish I could go back and actually experience it.
Well, you can still pedal back to
Yeah,
whatever place you can
I'm going
fly
that
on.
way.
And like, how do you feel about your route choices? Like, you
Yeah, well, I
passed-
didn't actually anticipate to do the hiker bike section, but after watching these dots soar through the Alpine region and not having to backtrack on themselves, I just went for it. But with no knowledge of what the route was going to be like at all, kind of backfired a little bit, but I made it.
Would you do it again?
The hiker bike?
Yeah.
After descending the Alps, yes.
Okay.
Any time, yeah.
Okay, that's good. And what is your plan for the like next days? Like, do you have any?
Oh, I'm
plans?
just gonna ride my own ride. Just gonna enjoy it and yeah, try and make it in the time frame.
Okay, thank you very much, and go riding mosquitoes eat you.
Yes,
alive.
yes. Bivvying tonight's gonna be a bit.
It's just this
Everything
sunset.
has teeth.
In the women's race, Joanna has extended her lead. She's cutting inland currently. Saz Harris following behind in second position. And Anissa is just heading up to our second refuge. Fair distances between them. I'm not sure whether these gaps are going to be closed or extend. But Joanna looks at the minute like she's in a strong position for the win. But there's still a couple of days left, so all to play for. In the pairs category, our Swiss duo have just passed Florence. They have a very commanding lead over Matt Downey, who will not officially qualify because he's not with his partner. But Matt's doing a solid ride by himself. There's no question about that. And in third, we have our other Italians who look like they're taking a comfortable march away from anyone else in this competition. We are based in Giovinazzo for the race finish, and there's plenty of action going on, hence the reason that Ian or Ingeborg can't be with me right now. But we're going to try and pick up some interviews and try and get some of the riders into the podcast over the next couple of days to sit down and chat with us about how their races have been and how they're feeling now that it's all over. I will be back very shortly with Ian, and we will give you the latest as the results pile in. But for me, that is it for today's episode of the 100th Mile Podcast. I'll catch you again very soon. Thanks for listening.